Hello and welcome again to the Coaches Show where Robert Brunson gets to talk to Chad Grier about football the last week, the next week, and we still don't have much of a name.
That's the best one yet.
That's
It's
it gets.
fantastic.
I try to add some creativity every week. Anyway, Coach, last week was a washout. Hurricane Dorian, of course, first and foremost caused a lot of damage, especially in the Bahamas, and we're all with those people. In our thoughts and prayers and in our actions. But here, it cost the game with Sockasty, and so we don't have much to talk about in terms of that game other than the question on everybody's mind is, will it be rescheduled?
Unfortunately, not. We don't have a bye until the last week of the season. So we were scheduled for 10 straight weeks, and then the last game of the season was our open date before the playoffs, and everybody else in the region played that time. So there was no date to make it up. We couldn't play on Saturday because they weren't in school on Friday, so that's the high school league rules. Because only the coastal teams affected or schools affected by the storm, so the high school league's not going to add a week to the back end of the schedule, so that we just lost the game, unfortunately.
And how does that affect the team? Just first, in terms of missing one game over the course of the season, does that help or hurt?
Well, it doesn't help. I think we had so much momentum going, and we're playing really well, and have really gotten a good rhythm in the weight room and practice schedule. I think the kids, with school, have kind of gotten a routine, and anytime your routine gets disrupted, that's just a little bit of adversity we have to deal with. And we talked about that yesterday with the boys, and we got to get our wind back, our legs back, and our mental toughness back. A little bit of being on that schedule, and yesterday was a little rough start, to be expected somewhat, but rather have that happen Monday, Tuesday than Friday. So we're working through it.
So your fan base, of course, would be aware that the entire week of school was wiped out last week with Labor Day being on Monday, and then Tuesday through Friday, school was canceled. You had no practice last week, and if do you have concerns about how the conditioning could be affected over that?
I mean, I have concerns, but no excuses. I mean, that's one of those deals where it just is what it is, and we talk a lot about being mentally tough, and you just got to make the most of it. And so we look. With the positive side is we got a week off. They were able to hopefully not be too stressed out over the storm conditions, and I know some folks lost power, so it's not like you were sitting at home watching TV just relaxing for a week. But we did get to rest up. We're completely healthy. I don't think we have any issues there. So. The concern is just we got to get back and refine that momentum and that rhythm we had on both sides of the ball. And I think, again, and off the field, the meetings, the lifting, the film time, all that was going really smooth. And we just got to get back in that groove quickly.
And while the Land Sharks had Friday night to ride out the remnants of the hurricane, Gray Collegiate was extending their record to 2-1, and the good news is the Land Sharks are averaging 53.5 points per game.
Wow,
exactly.
Wow, impressive.
And but unfortunately, Gray is averaging more than that, over 55 points a game.
Yeah, they're incredibly explosive. It's probably as explosive as I've ever seen on film. They've got some guys that you get the ball to them in space, they're going to go a long way with it. So a real challenge for Coach Jackson, our defense this week. I like what they're doing, but the Grays are a very good football team, and again, incredibly explosive on offense.
And they have a highly touted quarterback, I think.
Hunter Helms is number one, is a great kid. I've had the chance to meet Hunter a couple times over the years, just last few years. Really a first-class young man. It's easy to pull for him, except for this week, obviously. Actually, I hope he plays well. As long as we win. But he's committed to Holy Cross. He's had several other offers. I mean, just is a really talented young man, a talented player, good kid. Does a really good job in our offense.
And from a scheme standpoint, what are you looking for Gray to do?
They're going to put the ball in number 4's hands and number 17's hands, and they've got other weapons too. I mean, they're really they can't just key on one guy, but they run the ball very effectively with 17. He played against us last year as a freshman, and we knew then he was really good. He's even better this year. 4 is a transfer in from Irmo. you'll know him right away because he's electric. Watching him on film is kind of fun to watch until you realize you got to play him, and then I start drinking Tums like out of the bottle. I mean,
and he's a running back?
He's a receiver, plays in the slot, plays on the edge, and moving around a lot. He and 17 both return kicks. They're just really explosive, fun to watch if you're on the other side kind of guys. They've got number 2 in the slot that's very physical. One's about 6'5". They high point the ball to him down the field, throw him underneath. That's the thing that Hunter does real well is that they can stretch the field vertically. They'll hit you underneath, so they can kind of pick your poison, and you still got to deal with 17 in the backfield running the ball. So very multi-dimensional on offense, but guys that a lot of different guys can take to the house. So big challenge for our defense this week.
From the positive standpoint of not having a game against Sockasty on Friday, did that give you a little more time to take a look at what Gray does and prepare for them?
Not really. We spent all offseason watching all of our film from last year as a staff to figure out what can we do better to prepare our kids, game plan adjustments. I thought that really showed in the Savannah Christian game. I thought we had an excellent plan for them and executed very well. We did some of the same stuff with Gray. Last year with Gray, it was a great ball game, 1-by-1. Came down to the last play. We had to stop a 2-point conversion to preserve the win, and we had to run out the clock, and our kids did a nice job of that. I think we just expect it to be a fast, physical, highly competitive game again. They're very good. I think we're pretty dang good, and they're well coached. I love what our staff's doing. I think it's just going to come down to who can execute better.
And this game is going to be at the Citadel.
It's a lot of fun for the kids, I think. A lot of fun for the coaches. Just a great environment to play in. We really appreciate the Citadel hosting us again this year. Robbie Bennett, he's a parent of a JV player and a graduate. We call him Snoop, but Sims Bennett, now playing at Wingate. But Robbie's assistant ID over there, and he's been great to work with to help facilitate us being able to rent the Citadel to play the game in. So we're excited for that opportunity too.
That's great. It's a big stadium, so we're going to need a lot of fans to fill that place up. I do intend to try to do another live stream this week. I think we're going to have a better signal at the Citadel, so we'll be sending around a link for the fans to try and watch the game online live as it takes place with play-by-play. If that doesn't work, we'll still have audio available online as well.
Great.
Any closing thoughts?
JV plays Gray first on Thursday, so I know we've got our JV parents have been incredibly supportive, and I know they'll travel well up there to support the boys. But that'll be that's the fun thing that our region didn't have a lot of JV teams, so when we get to do it, Sockasty was going to be the same way. We get to play a JV on Thursday and a varsity on Friday, more traditional JV schedule. So excited for our JV guys. Really pleased with what they're doing. One JV player I haven't mentioned, I thought about this, I don't know why, over the weekend. I said, Jace Krafchick has just done an incredible job for us as a JV player. Earned a right to dress out again this week on varsity, but kid came as a quarterback and still does a really good job as a quarterback, more like a Tim Tebow kind of guy, but not many quarterbacks turn around and go say, I want to play Mike linebacker and just go light people up, and that's what he's doing for us. So kid just I haven't mentioned before, but I think has done a really good job for us, and excited about our JV team and the future of our program. And
of course, you can't mention the JV team without saying they are undefeated in the history of the program, and Coach Jamal Birch and his staff have done a great job.
Incredible job, and very proud of them as coaches. We have a lot of younger coaches that I don't think people really understand the commitment they had to make and some of the decisions, lifestyle decisions they make to be able to be here as often as they are. It's not a place where, in high school sports in general, you're not nobody's getting rich and living a good life off of what you make to coach high school football. But a lot of these guys, they took other jobs, they reworked their schedules, or they just flat say, hey, I'm just going to commit time to be here. And what they do once they're here, the investment they put in the boys and the time and effort to become Oceanside football guys in terms of coaches and our scheme and our culture. I just can't say enough about our entire coaching staff. And the great majority of those guys are our JV staff. When we coached, it was one program with 2 teams, so it's the same guys. But I'm really, really proud and thankful for our coaching staff. And
in terms of the Gray Collegiate JV team, is this their first year with a JV team? I know people call them sort of the sister school of Oceanside in a way.
Yeah, they are. I mean, we both managed by Pinnacle as our EMO, and now Legion is out of Rock Hill is with us as well. I'm not sure.
I hope that's not a sign.
I'm not familiar with that alarm. I'm not sure what that one means.
It sounded like what I heard on my cell phone about every hour during the hurricane.
Yeah, true, exactly. No, I don't know much about Grace JV. I do know that we know their principal, we know their athletic director, the coach. We have a lot of friendships we build. It's a friendly rivalry, but it's a rivalry. I mean, they've the basketball game we played them last year in the lower state semifinal or lower state finals was a great game. We ended up losing in a really close game. They ended up winning the state championship by 40. We've played great games with them in soccer and really in every sport, baseball. We enjoy good friendly competition with them, but they're really good people. They understand the same challenges we have. I mean, it's hard to find coaches, yet they've got a great staff of coaches. It's hard, limited facilities, weight room, practice fields. I mean, they live our struggle, and have done a really good job with it. So, it's a good, healthy rivalry in a friendly way. But it's a rivalry. We want to win. They want to win. We play for the Pinnacle Cup, big trophy we got in the trophy case out there. I should have brought it, but I'm sure it'll be on the sideline somewhere. So hopefully we'll get to hang on to it for another year.
Hopefully we'll bring that and make it front and center next week.
That'd be great.
When we have the next installment of the Coach Grier talking about last week's game and looking forward to next week's game and generally discussing any other topic that may come up.
Show. Speaking of other topics, I mean, did you watch wrestling last night?
No. I missed it last night. I think I was busy doing my research to prepare for the show.
Fair enough. Disappointing, but
did Mr. Wrestling number 2 win? Is he still?
Now you're talking my language. Now, if you know Mr. Wrestling number 2 is his real name, Tim Woods. I'm sure you know.
No, Wrestling number 1 was Tim Woods.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
impressed. Now we're talking.
Hey, it's been 50 years, but I did watch some wrestling in my youth.
That's the glory days. Where did you grow up?
Allendale, South Carolina.
Allendale. So y'all had little Georgia Championship wrestling on Saturday night.
Georgia Championship. Gordon Soley was the announcer.
Right. Tommy Wildfire Rich.
Abdullah the Butcher was the
great
bad guy. Yeah. Andre the Giant would show up. Leaping Lanny. I can remember. I watched some wrestling
so
in my
you just went from Georgia Championship and Crockett. You skipped right to WWF at the time with Andre and Leaping Lanny. Those guys weren't Southern guys.
It's sort of like when Mr. Wrestling number 2 retired. I felt like the overall quality of the sport really declined.
I'm not sure about that, but
well, maybe I'll reconnect with my wrestling roots.
Stone Cold's got a new show out now. Have you seen that? It comes on after Raw Monday nights. It's really good.
Raw, no, it's amazing this team wins any games.
And now SmackDown is moving to Friday night on network TV.
Okay, SmackDown.
There's your news flash.
All right, so I hope that we've all had our fill of wrestling for the day because we've certainly exhausted my memory on the subject. And looking forward to some football at the Citadel Friday night. Game time 7:30.
7:30. I need a big crowd of loud, supportive shark fans there, and let's have a shark feeding frenzy.
Yeah, let's do it. And one other thing, I think
that's Corley's thing, feeding frenzy. We have this.
So we filmed this show in Principal Corley's office. And she comes in and out of the room and occasionally acts as our director. But that's going to do it for today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.